What is the definition of an event? Any change of a state that has significance for the management of a configuration item or service. An event can be defined as any changes of state that has significance for the management of a configuration item, CI, or service. Identity the missing words in the following sentence. Blank is any component that needs to be managed in order to deliver an IT service. Configuration item. A configuration item is any component that needs to be managed in order to deliver an IT service. Which practice needs people who understand complex systems and have creative and any analytical skills. Problem management. Many problem management activities rely on knowledge and experience of staff rather than on following detailed procedures. People responsible for diagnosing problems often need the ability to understand the complex systems and to think about how different failures might have occurred. What is defined as the practice of systematically observing services and service component and recording and reporting selected changes of state identifies as event. Monitoring and event management. Monitoring and event management is the practice of systematically observing services and service component and recording and reporting selected changes of state identified as event. Your company external router has just malfunctions and need to be replaced. The entire organization's connection to wider area network will remain offline until this router replaced. Which type of change should be initiated? Emergency. An emergency change must be implemented as soon as possible to resolve incident or security issue. Note routine is a type of change. Which practice requires skills and competencies related to business analysis, supplier management, and relationship management, service level management. Service level management practices requires skills and competencies related to business analysis, supplier management, and relationship management. What actions does the service desk take for all issues, queries, and requests that are reported to them? Acknowledge, classify, own. Service desk provides clear paths for users to report issues, queries, and requests, and have them acknowledged, classified, owned, and actioned. Which statement about change authorization is correct? A change authority should be assigned to each type of change and a change model. It is essential that the correct change authority is assigned to each type of change to ensure that change control is both efficient and effective. Be incorrect. There is no rule that centralizing change authority is the most effective. What is defined as practices of ensuring that accurate and reliable information about the configuration of service and the configuration item that support them is available when and where needed. Service configuration management. Service configuration management is the practice of ensuring that accurate and reliable information about the configuration of systems and the configuration items that support them is available when and where needed. During the incident management, what is called when the incident is passed on to the next higher level of technician? Escalation. Escalation occurs when incident is more complicated and needed higher level of analysis and support to resolve. Which type of document should be written in easy to understand language to outline the expectations and requirements for both the service provider and the customers? Service level agreement. Service level agreement is a documented agreement between service provider and the customer that identifies both service required and the expected level of service. They should be written in easy to understand language, avoid complex legal terminology, and agreed by both parties. Identify the missing word in the following sentence. The blank is the practice of capturing demand for incident resolution and the service request. Service desk. The service desk is the practice of capturing demand for incident resolution and the service request. Which statement about the incident management practice is correct? It resolved the highest impact incident first. The correct answer is resolve the highest impact incident first. It identifies cause the major incident, and it maintains detailed procedure diagnosis incident are responsibility of program management. It authorizes changes to resolve incident is responsibility of change enablement. Program management. Change enablement. Which incident should be logged? Every incident should be logged. Every incident should be logged and managed to ensure that it is resolved in a time that meets the expectations of the customer and user. Which is the purpose of the service desk practice? The capture demand for instant resolution and service request. The purpose of the service desk practice is capture demand for instant resolution and service request. It should also be entry point and a single point of contact for the service provider with all of its users. Which practices are typically involved in the implementation of problem resolution, continuous improvement, service request management, service level management, change enablement? First and fourth. Problem management activities can identify improvement opportunities in all four dimensions of service management. Problem solution can, in some cases, be treated as improved opportunities, so they are included in continuous improvement register and use continuous improvement techniques to prioritize and manage them. Which practice includes the use of approaches such as Lean Agile DevOps with the aim of facilitating a greater amount of change as 6 key technique, continual improvement. Approaches to continual improvement can be found in many places. Lean method provide perspective on elimination of waste. Agile method focus on making improvement incrementally cadence. DevOps method work holistically and ensure that improvements are not only designed well, but applied effectively. Which two practices use workaround? Problem management and incident management. Workarounds are created and reviewed by problem management and used by incident management to solve incidents. How does categorization of incident assist incident management? It helps direct the incident to the correct support area. More complex incidents will usually be escalated to the support team for the resolution. Typically, the routing is based on the incident category, which should help to identify the correct team. Identify the missing word from the sentence. A known error is a problem that has been blanked and has not been resolved. Has been analyzed. A known error is a problem that has been analyzed but has not been resolved. Which of these activities is carried out as part of the problem management? Trend analysis of incident record. Trend analysis of incident record is a part of problem management activities. Other options are part of the incident management practices. Which service level metrics is best for measuring user experiences? Metrics linked to define outcomes. Some of the key requirements for successful SLA include the must be related to a defined service in the service catalog. They should be related to defined outcomes and not simply operational metrics. They should reflect an agreement between all stakeholders. They must simply be written and easy to understand and use all the parties. Which two needs should change enablement to balance? The need to make beneficial changes, the need to protect customer and users. The enablement must balance the need to make beneficial changes that will deliver additional value with the need to protect customers and users from adverse effects of changes. which is recommendation of the service desk practice. Service desk should have a practical understanding of wider business. Another key aspect of the good service desk is practical understanding of wider organization, that business processes and users. Which statement about the continual improvement practice is correct? Training should be provided to those involved in continual improvement. Training and other enablement assistance should be provided to staff members to help them feel prepared to continual improvement. An SLA service level agreement. SLA is a service level agreement, which describes the watermelon SLA effect. The metrics is an SLA is focused on internal measures, so that reports show everything is good, while the customer is not satisfied. Introduce the SLA for service enablement customers to see the service provider is doing really good job, so this improves satisfaction. No. When service provider focus on internal measures, this can be problematic for it, as it is doing great job. The reports are all green, when in fact each customer are dissatisfied with the service received and also frustrated that the provider doesn't notice this. This is known as the watermelon SLA effect, because like watermelon, the SLA may appear green on outside, but actually red inside, which usually requires a team of representatives from many stakeholder groups investigating a major incident. The most complex incident and major incidents often require a temporary team to work together to identify the resolution. This team may include the representatives of many stakeholders, including the service providers, suppliers, and users, and etc. Your laptop was connected to the corporate wireless network this morning, but when you came back from lunch, it refused to connect to the network. What terms best describe this scenario? Incident. An incident is an unplanned interrupted to a service or reproduction in the quality of service. Since the wireless service is no longer working and this is unplanned outage, it should be classified as an incident, which helps to manage an incident when it is unclear which support team should be working on the incident. Swarming. Some organizations use techniques called swarming to help manage incidents. This involves many different stakeholders working together initially, until it becomes clear which of team is best placed to continue, and which can move on the other task. Which practice is responsible for moving components to live environment? Deployment management. The purpose of the deployment management practice is to move new or change hardware, software, documentation, process, and or any other component to the live environment. Which statement about problem is correct? Problem prioritizes involved risk assessment. Problems are prioritized for analysis based on risk that they proposed, and are managed as risks based on their potential impact and probability. Which practice is the responsibility of everyone in the organization? Continual improvement. Continual improvement is everyone's responsibility, and the commitment to practical practice of continual improvement must be embedded into very fiber of organization. When should a full risk assessment and authorization be carried out for the understand change? When the procedure for the standard change is created. Full risk assessment and authorization for standard changes should be done when the procedure for the standard change is created. What is the purpose of the ITSM management practice? Planning and managing full life cycle of all assets. ITSM management is the practice of planning and managing the full life cycle of all assets. Which practice is proposed that include reducing the likelihood of incident? Problem management. The purpose of problem management practice is to reducing the likelihood and impact of incident by identifying actual potential causes of incident and managing workaround and known errors. Which practice has proposed that include ensuring that risks have been properly assessed? Change enablement. The purpose of the change enablement practice is to maximize the number of successful service and product changes by ensuring that risks have been properly assessed, authorizing changes to proceed, and managing the changes schedule. Identify the missing word in the following sentence. The purpose of the information security management practices is to blank the organization's information. Protect. The purpose of the information security management practice is to protect the organization's information. This includes understanding and managing risks to the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information, as well as other aspects of information security, such as identification, ensuring someone is who they claim to be, and non-repudiation, ensuring that someone can't deny that they took an action. What are typically recognized through notifications created by an IT service, CI, or monitoring tool? Event. Any change of state that has significance for the management of a service or other configuration items. Events are typically recognized through the notifications created by an IT service, CI, monitoring tool. Which practice provide support for managing feedback, compliment, and complaint from users? Service request management. The purpose of the service request management practice is to support the audit quality of service by handling all the predefined user-initiated service request in an effective and user-friendly manner. Each service request may include one or more of the following: feedback, compliment, and complaint. For example, complaint about new interface or compliment to support team. What does change enablement primarily focus on? Changes to product and services. Changes to product and services handled through change enablement. Changes to organization structure and the change skills and competencies is handled through the organization change management. Change to service level is handled through service level management. How should an organization prioritize incident? Use an agreed classification which is based on business impact of incident. Organization prioritize incident using an agreed classification which is based on business impact of the incident. When should the effectiveness of problem or workaround be assessed? Whenever the workaround is used. Effectiveness of a problem workaround be assessed whenever the workaround is used. Identify the missing word in the following sentence. Service blank management is the practice of setting clear business-based targets for the service performance so that the delivery of the service can be properly assessed, monitored, and managed against these targets. Service level management. Service level management is a practice of setting clear business-based targets for service performance so that the delivery of service can be properly assessed, monitored, and managed against the targets. Each time users attempt to log on to the domain using the username and password, they receive an error that the authentication server is not responding. This is happening to multiple users across the network. How would you categorize this issue? Problem. A problem is cause or potential cause of one or more incidents. This is occurring multiple times and different users across the network. This common issue appears to be authentication server, so it might be the problem. Which statement about the emergency changes is correct? The assessment and authentication of emergency changes is expected to ensure that they can be implemented quickly. The correct answer is assessment and the authentication of emergency change is expected to user ensure they can be implemented quickly, or other options are not correct. What is required by all service desk staff? Demonstration of emotional intelligence. Demonstration of emotional intelligence is required by service desk. Note: don't mix between options. Root cause analysis skills and incident analysis skills. Root cause analysis skills are required in a problem management. What incident analysis skills are needed for the service desk? A request for a provider laptop, which should handled by service request management. A provider laptop is handled by service request management. A request to implement a security patch is handled through change enablement. A request to resolve an error in the service are handled through incident management and or service desk. A request change a target in service level management. Which helps to stream the fulfillment of a service request. Understanding which service request can be accomplished with limited approvals. Understanding which service request can be accomplished with limited approvals helps to streamline the fulfillment of service request, which is use of the change schedule, assigning resources to change. The change schedule is used to help plan changes, assistance communication, avoid conflict, assign the resources. It can also be used after changes have been deployed to provide information needed for incident management, problem management, and improvement planning. Which practice coordinated the classification, ownership, and the communication of the service request and incident? Service desk. Service desk is responsible for handling service request and incident. What is the purpose of the continual improvement practices? Aligning on organization practices and service with changing business needs through the ongoing identification and improvement of elements involved in the effective management of products and services. Continual improvement is the practices of aligning on organization practices and the services with changing business needs through the ongoing identification and improvement of all elements involved in effective management of products and services. Which practice recommend using tools for collaboration and the automating matching of symptoms? Incident management. Information about the incident should be stored in incident record is suitable tool. Ideally, this tool should also provide a link to related CI, changes, problems, known errors, and other knowledge to enable quick and efficient diagnosis and recovery. Modern IT service management tools can provide automated matching of incident to other incident, problems, or known errors, and can even provide intelligent analysis of incident data to generate recommendations for helping with future incident. What defines as a practice of establishing and uttering links between an organization and its stakeholders at strategic and tactical levels? Relationship management. Relationship management is a practice of establishing and uttering links between an organization and its stakeholders at strategic and tactical levels. Which practice form links between the service provider and the user service desk? The purpose of the service desk practice is to capture demand in incident resolution and service request. It should also be the entity point and the single point of contact (SPOC) for the service provider with all of its users. Which practice has purpose of the making new and changed services and features available for use? Release management. The purpose of the release management is to make a new and changed service and features available for use. What are the most important skills required by service desk staff? Incident analysis skills. Service desk staff require the training and competency across the number of broad technical and business areas. In particular, they needed to demonstrate excellent customer service skills such as empathy, incident analysis, and prioritization, effective communication, and emotional intelligence. Identify the missing word in the following sentence. The purpose of supplier management practices is to ensure that the organization's supplier and their performance are blank, appropriately to support the seamless provision of quality products and services managed. The purpose of the supplier's management practices is to ensure that the organization's suppliers and their performances are managed appropriately to support the seamless provision of quality products and services. Who can report an incident? Anyone. Anyone can report an incident, unplanned interruption to a service reduction in quality of service. This may be reported by the end user, service desk analyst, system administrator, and the person who identifies the interruption or reduction in the service. What type of change is most likely to be managed by the service request management practice? Standard change. Fulfillment of a service request may include changes to service or their component. Usually these are standard changes, and the standard changes, these are the low risk, pre-authorized changes that are well understood and fully documented and can be implemented without needing additional authorization. They are often initiated as service requests. What should be included in every level agreement? Clearly defined service outcomes. They should relate to defined outcomes, not simply operational metrics. This can be achieved with balanced bundles of metrics.